Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talk. It is Sunday morning. I've actually shot this video now. This is the third time because I won't say stumbling, but I want to be careful how I talk about this topic. I kind of want to talk a little bit about how, and I've got to be cautious what we say here on this platform. Certain things they don't like us talking about. So what I want to talk about, and you guys can kind of read between the lines a little bit, is what happened in the past when the North went against the South, and how that played out for the people that supported one of the sides, and how that played out with the money. I think it's important because I believe that we are close to some sort of a situation like that. You guys know I am down here in Texas. I'm pretty much close to the border. So what's going on really, it kind of hits home more for me in a way that, I mean, this is really getting ridiculous what's going on. I'm paying my state taxes to support one side, and I have to pay my federal taxes to support the other side. And the two sides are totally doing the opposite against each other. So it's almost like my money is just literally just being thrown in the air pointlessly. And I won't go into too much politics because it is a touchy subject. But we are going to talk about what happens to the money when stuff like this happens. And you can think back about what happened to the money when the North was against the South in the old days. If you enjoyed this video, please take a quick minute, hit that thumbs up button. If you don't enjoy this video, please still hit the thumbs button. It really helps me out. So with that being said, let's get talking though. So a lot of people know, when I talk about this, in the old days, when we had the North against the South, we started out where it wasn't North against the South. It was all one big country. And the money was gold and silver. We had silver Morgan dollars back then. And then as time went on, well, not as time went on, but we also had gold eagles. But as time went on and you had the fracturing start happening, the South didn't really have a whole lot of gold. And obviously, having the North going against the South, it took a lot of money to handle that, a lot of money. And thus, Confederate notes came up. They started printing more and more notes to basically try to kind of keep up with what was going on. It's not cheap. Any kind of an event like the North against the South. I'm trying to not say the three-letter word that starts with W. Anytime you have the North against the South, it's going to cost money. Anytime that you have one state, or in this case, now it's 25 states, basically siding with us down here in Texas against, I guess, the backing of the government. It costs a lot of money all the way around for everybody. And I've been saying time and time again, I really believe that eventually they're going to crash the dollar. I think that is coming. How they do it, who knows? Could it be a mass devaluation? We've seen time and time again in different countries where they have devalued the money, where you might have $1 and then all of a sudden they say, you got to turn in 10 of them to equal 1. And then people get confident at first that, okay, we got a new currency, it's great. But then, it didn't take long before they said, again, you need 10 to make 1. And then 10 to make 1, and then 10 to make 1, and so on, until they basically just make the paper worthless over and over again. So, I've always said I don't want to be quick to sell gold and silver if something major happens, to where I'd have to sell it and take the new currency. I wouldn't want to be the first one off the block, even though I believe there will be a lot of confidence in the dollar once they do the first revaluation, if it happens that way. In some cases, we have also seen where they have just totally devalued it. We've been devaluating it now to where, we've said this time and time again, $1 really doesn't buy much. I mean, you could take I'm sure I got a silver quarter here. Right here. You could take this 63 quarter and it would buy a gallon of gas. In 64, it would still buy a gallon of gas. In 65, even, it wasn't silver, but it would still buy a gallon of gas. So here's the thing. Fast forward to today, and over time, when they change the quarters to where this quarter, this is probably a bad example because it's not a 65 quarter, but it doesn't matter, doesn't really buy you anything because it's not made out of silver. However, the silver content that's in this, you could melt this quarter down, sell that little bead of silver, and get enough money to buy a gallon of gas even today. A lot of people want to say that these coins have historical value. This 63 quarter has absolutely no historical value. There's nothing special about it. It is just a regular Washington quarter, but it is made out of silver. So what it's made out of is actually the money. It's the value that it brings to the table. And, here's the thing. They already knew this. That's why they had done this, I believe. And some people will say that they knew, when the South knew that they were going to lose the war, they ended up putting a lot of their gold aside. And some of it's been lost forever because the people that knew where it was basically didn't make it. And then essentially it was gone forever. But what I'm trying to say here is that, the gold and the silver is money. So once you realize that first, it really doesn't matter what happens. I've said this time and time again. It doesn't matter if this coin has Canada on it, if it has the U.S. on it, if it has Mexico on it, if it has the Confederacy. It could say whatever it wants. It's an ounce of gold. The money is in the contents of it. If someone melted the coin down and formed a little bead of gold, that bead of gold has value. And that's where the money really is. And I'm saying this because I do believe there is going to be a reevaluation coming of the money. Now, one thing that I think will probably happen is if they do a revaluation, they probably wouldn't value the money totally off of gold. They would probably have some compound of silver in there too, which means they would have to come up with some sort of ratio. Now, a lot of you know the old $20 gold eagle was just that. It was an ounce of gold. It was $20. And the silver dollars were Morgan dollars that looked something kind of like this right here. Even though this is I won't say a replica, it's a round. But it kind of looked like this, so you guys know. And these were worth $1, and it took 20 of these to equal this, 1 ounce of gold at the time. However, fast forward to today, and right now we're dealing with a 90-to-1 ratio. That's one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of silver, because I believe silver is undervalued. Now, was I disappointed last year when gold did better than silver? Absolutely. But I had some gold. But I mean, obviously I have more in silver than I do in gold. So I would like to see essentially the silver do better. And I believe eventually it will. And I believe right now they're positioning themselves to have a lot of the silver. And now themselves being the people that know what's going on, the insiders, the big banks. I won't go so far as necessarily to say politicians, because the rich elites, what do you think they're going to? They're going to gold. I mean, you look what's going on, even big names. Remember when Prince passed away? He had them big bars of gold in his house. Michael Jackson passed away. He had bars of gold in his house. The rich elite people out there are buying up gold. And I guess that gives a small amount of confidence knowing or believing that, if they believe in gold, then gold probably ain't going to go totally by the wayside. But the big banks, JP Morgan and stuff, what are they buying? Think about that. Yeah, they probably have gold, but they are hoarding silver. They're sitting on the largest silver hoard probably ever put together in history. And they're getting away with that by doing paper shorts. And every time they short it, you think they're not taking physical? I mean, they're stripping the physical right out of the COMEX. They're the ones doing it, I believe. I mean, yeah, a lot of us are stacking, and we discuss it on the channel, and other channels discuss it, and it's a hot topic, stacking silver. However, think about the way the world is, and think about where the big money is going. Big money's going to gold. Federal reserves, a lot of reserves might be going to gold. Different reserve banks around the world, billionaires in the world, a lot of them are moving into gold. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about silver. I mean, yeah, in our little community, that really makes me think that if the big banks like JP Morgan are doing silver, then I want to be in silver. Because I think the big banks kind of know what's going on. They have pull. Think about it. I mean, we got Jerome Powell. We got Janet Yellen in there. They are not, I mean, yes, Janet Yellen is technically government, but she used to be where Jerome Powell is now. I mean, it's one big game almost. They put their people in key positions, and then they manipulate the system to work in their favor. And they know what's going to happen. And they probably know that both gold and silver will do well, but I think big banks know silver is going to do a whole lot better. And when it does, can you imagine seeing a 90-1 all of a sudden just drop to like 20-1? I mean, darn, even 30 or 40-1 would be crazy. I mean, that means every 40 ounces of silver that you just bought for, what, $1,100 maybe? I don't know what, 40 ounces. You could pick up 40 for probably $1,000 right now. Can you imagine that? $1,000? You're essentially, then you take the 40 ounces, you trade it for an ounce of gold. And here's the thing. When silver really starts skyrocketing in price, people that bought gold are going to feel left out. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to be looking for people to trade them silver for the gold after the move. After it goes up, then they're going to want to do the trade. So think about that the next time you're putting in an order. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm really worried right now with everything going down on the south border because now it's a little closer to home. So, but let me know what you guys think about this topic, and I look forward to reading your comments. I hope you hit the thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, please take a quick minute, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys again on T-Squared Talk. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.